Hello, everybody. It is Tuesday, January 18th, 2022. I'm Cool Cat Terry, and we are bringing you a very bonus, unexpected, impromptu episode for you guys today because we've just had some major news drop here in the gaming universe. So we're going to go ahead and cover that today on Just a Glimpse.
Just a Glimpse! Not your average podcast. Are you ready to get angry? Covering
Movies,
gaming, politics. Just a glimpse.
Alright, for those of you who follow gaming, you should already be in the know that Microsoft just made a major deal by buying Activision and Blizzard for $60.8 billion. Like, oh my gosh. So that's pretty much all anybody has been talking about today on Twitter. And I've seen spaces going up and all kinds of things. Everyone is just, Xbox is the talk of the town today. We went through this, not too long ago when they acquired Bethesda and ZeniMax. Here we are again with another major acquisition, one that nobody saw coming. They did this one way on the down low. There were no leaks to kind of let us know. Microsoft hinted a little heads up yesterday, right before, and nobody caught it because it was this last minute drop, like, hey, we might be buying this. Then the next thing you know, boom, hey, it's official, we bought it. It's like, what? And everybody's completely shocked. No one saw this coming. And so now, of course, whenever there's a big acquisition, everything starts to spiral, and we have the console war fanboys going back and forth as they do. We have the business execs going back and forth wanting to know what's going to happen when it comes to the employees and the current culture within those businesses and how things may change. And then there's the gamers who just want to know what's going to happen with the games. So we're going to try to cover all of that. Now, this may become a two-part episode. My plan is to try and grab at least maybe two other content creators that I've worked with in the past to have an actual open discussion about this. So it's not just, me running solo like I do, going off of what I think. Normally, that's what I do for Just a Glimpse, is I just want it to be what's going on in my own mind. But a topic like this, there's a lot of different angles to look at. So I think this would be a good opportunity to bring on some other voices and have another discussion. Nothing set in stone. All right, so let's just get straight into the news. All right, so right here, I pulled up an article from the New York Times. There are a slew of articles out there right now. Everyone's running with this story. I picked this one because this one is more of a business breakdown versus going with a game journalist company that's just going to talk about Xbox and games that they're getting. I want to focus more on a business side. The headline that New York Times did was Microsoft will buy Activision Blizzard, a bet on games being central to the internet's future. So it says here, Microsoft said on Tuesday it planned to buy the powerhouse but troubled video game company Activision Blizzard for nearly $70 billion. That video games will become an increasingly central part of people's digital lives. The blockbuster acquisition, the largest ever by Microsoft, and for the gaming world, would catapult the company into a leading spot in a $175 billion industry that is successful on virtually every kind of device, from bulky gaming consoles to mobile phones, and has reached even greater heights during the pandemic. Technology companies are swarming around the industry, looking for a bigger share of the attention and money from the world's 3 billion gamers. In an industry driven by blockbuster franchises, Activision makes some of the most popular titles, including Call of Duty and Candy Crush, yet the company has been roiled by employee revolt over accusations of sexual assault and discrimination in recent months. Now, all of this is one of the biggest things that people are talking about. They want to know what's going to happen. People are hopeful that Microsoft can change the culture within the working environment there for the different employees, which will be amazing. So this is major news because right now with a lot of the talk is also about the gaming atmosphere within the company because of these accusations of discrimination and sexual harassment. People want to know what's going to change. We got to make these companies better. Employees need to feel safe, and so that way they can increase morale and have a better work environment, and then churn out better products and things of the liking. So the biggest person on the chopping block that people have been all talks about is Bobby Kotick. Now he was, or is currently, he still is, the CEO of Activision. Now, there's been a lot of news since this first dropped, and I believe the Wall Street Journal is the one that recently dropped the thing that as of 2023, Bobby Kotick will be stepping down. So this makes people a lot happier because when the news first dropped this morning, nobody knew. The news was that he was going to be sticking around, and that made people nervous. And then maybe a couple hours went by, and then the Wall Street Journal had their breaking story about how he's only going to be there till 2023 after all of the deal gets finalized, because they still have to meet federal approval and things of the nature. There's a lot of paperwork and things that still needs to be done before the deal is finalized. So he's got until then, and then he's going to be out. So that's making a lot of people happier, because there's just been too many issues with Activision and Blizzard as a whole being under scrutiny. They've just been on a downward decline for years when it comes to the quality of their games, as well as the nature of what's going on and how they treat their employees. Looks like that is definitely being addressed and handled. Only time will tell to see what actually truly gets done and things of that nature. So at least we got that covered. The deal may also strengthen the company's hand in the so-called metaverse, the nascent world of virtual and augmented reality. The metaverse is more of a buzzword than a thriving business now, but it has attracted huge amounts of investment and talent. Facebook renamed its parent company to Meta late last year to underscore its commitment. Phil Spencer, chief executive of Microsoft's gaming business, said that whatever the metaverse may end up being, gaming will be at the forefront of making that mainstream. For now, he said, the acquisition was about gaining a stronghold in mobile gaming, where Microsoft barely competes, and a studio that produces blockbuster games. He called Call of Duty one of the amazing entertainment franchises on the planet. Now, all of this is true. Call of Duty is major. Everybody knows that. They have mobile versions. It's on PC. It's on Xbox. They have it on PlayStation. It's one of the biggest, most popular first-person shooters out there. And it even has a huge following within the competitive scene with esports. This is a major acquisition just to get this game alone. This is what intrigues me, because not too many people are talking about this. I've been watching the conversations on Twitter, and it's mostly people just talking about exclusivity. Like, what's going to happen? Exclusivity is, is Call of Duty going to be exclusive to Xbox? Are they going to put it on Game Pass? Or is they going to keep it on PlayStation? And yada, yada, yada. That's fine. That's a good topic, but that's not what I wanted to focus on, because I want to focus more on what the real deal is. Most of that exclusivity stuff is important, but that's going to come in ties of more of the gamers, of what they want, as well as fueling the fire for competition within the console war space. And I don't really like to speculate on that. Whatever happens, happens. And we just got to roll with the punches as consumers, to either invest in multiple platforms to get all the things we want. Now, when it comes to this is a huge reason why Microsoft actually did this deal, is they want to get into the mobile market. Now, if you remember years back, maybe 2 or more years ago, Phil Spencer had come out and he had made a comment about how he's not focused on competing with PlayStation. And everybody called him out saying that that was a lie. He really is focused on competing with PlayStation, yada yada. Console war stuff, whatever. He said that PlayStation isn't his main concern. His main concern is the Amazons and the Googles and, those big tech companies out there. Those are the companies you have to watch for. And he's not wrong. So this is why he did what he did. He doesn't need to worry about PlayStation. He has to worry about the big investment companies like Google and Amazon that are also in the gaming space that have the buying power to acquisition other studios to build up their stuff and to continuously push within the gaming space to become a bigger competitor. And also those corporations like Google, they're in the forefront when it comes to mobile. Now, yes, Google has their issues with Stadia, but they already have the hardware. Everybody has, cell phones. Everybody, they have the mobile apps and all that stuff. So that's already a big thing. Mobile gaming is huge, especially in Eastern culture in Asia. Mobile gaming is the primary gaming that everybody does over there. So it makes sense that Microsoft wants to focus on the bigger picture and keep expanding and focus more on mobile. Now, them trying to, get into the metaverse tells me that they got their eyes on Facebook. Now, we know from the past, I believe this article is going to talk about it, but if we remember from like a year ago, Microsoft was trying to acquire TikTok and Discord. And it makes sense that Microsoft would have their eyes on them because they are a pretty major player in the gaming space. Now, since they weren't able to get TikTok and they weren't able to get Discord, they were able to acquire some deals with Discord. I know you can link like your Microsoft accounts and stuff with Discord, so they got some stuff brewing there, but they weren't able to buy them flat out, as far as I know. I would suggest you do your own research to find out what's going on with that. The next big one to go into would be Facebook. And since Facebook is doing their rebrand to becoming their meta thing, whatever they're doing, this would be a great opportunity if Microsoft can do some sort of partnership with Facebook, Meta, whatever they want to call themselves. This will put them in a space where they could expand their cloud gaming. Xbox has their cloud gaming space. So to be able to make that more available within the mobile space would be great. Facebook has a lot of resources when it comes to the mobile aspect of things. So this could be a great way for them to partner up and help Microsoft get into those different avenues a lot easier. Facebook, I believe, also owns Oculus. So if that also gives them an opportunity if they want to try to do some sort of business partnership with Facebook. Maybe Microsoft can get into the VR gaming scene as well, because there's been a lot of talk about that recently with Oculus as being so popular and PlayStation still pushing their VR side, that people keep wondering if Xbox is going to get involved. So if there's a chance of that. If Microsoft wants to do business with Facebook in gaming and not only build them up and get into the mobile side, they could also team up and possibly get into the VR side as well. This could all be possible things that they want to do in the future. Only time will tell what they do, but these are possibilities. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. So this is all very intriguing. Very intriguing. All right, so then if we go further, it says federal regulators may raise concerns about the acquisition as Democrats and Republicans have pushed to limit the power of technology giants. Microsoft is valued at more than $2.3 trillion, second to Apple. Now, this is another thing, yes. Within the political scope of the US, there has been a lot of issues between tech giants having too much power. There's been issues with people are worried about monopolies. There's also issues where people are worried about these tech companies having too much power to where they can reshape, what people see on social media, maybe with censorship, and maybe, constitutional rights possibly being infringed on. It's a huge controversy that's going on right now. So a big acquisition like this is definitely going to be a red flag to some people. But, I have no doubts that they'll be fine. This does not in any way make them a monopoly. So that anybody who's trying to push that narrative, this does not make Microsoft a monopoly. There's plenty of other companies out there that own a lot of other studios. One that people always forget, and I don't know why, but everybody always forgets about Embracer Group. Embracer owns more studios than Microsoft and Sony combined. All right? So Microsoft buying some more isn't going to make them a monopoly. There's too many other companies out there that are involved with owning different studios and being within the market. It's not a monopoly. A monopoly would be they would be the only people in the market and nobody else can be there. That would be a monopoly. This isn't a monopoly. There's a lot of competition that they would still have out there between Embracer, Tencent, Nintendo, Sony, Facebook, Google, Amazon. They're all in on this gaming stuff. There's too many other large entities out there. This is not a monopoly, so people need to stop that narrative. This is not even close. Even Apple has a lot in gaming too. So no, this is not a monopoly. So we'll just stop that one right there. It's not a monopoly. Now, people thought it was a big deal when they did the Bethesda ZeniMax deal not too long ago for $7 billion, and even back then, when I had discussions on other podcasts, I kept going on about how that was chump change. With the profits that Microsoft makes, they pretty much would get that money back in profits within 3 months. Right? So $7 billion is nothing. That's just 3 months of profits right there that that's nothing. $70 billion is definitely a bigger deal, but they're a company that's in the trillions for value. This is not going to hurt them. They're going to make that back. With their profits, they're going to make a lot of it back. And then since a lot of these assets that they're acquiring are very profitable, they're going to make that back. So they're good. It is fair that other companies would feel threatened, like Sony, for example. Sony is a successful company. They definitely have money. They're doing fantastic, especially when it comes to their PlayStation branch. But they don't got that Microsoft money. They just don't. In all honesty, Microsoft could buy Sony in its entirety. They could buy PlayStation and all of Sony. They could completely buy them if they wanted to and if Sony agreed. They could. Are they going to do it? No, because, they want to have that competition. They work together very well. Microsoft and Sony have both been companies that have worked together for many years using servers and security and different things within their own little ecosystem. So they work well together. The only people that make them enemies are gamers. Gamers always want to do the console war about how it's Microsoft versus Sony, Xbox versus PlayStation, and they feel that console war narrative, like these guys are two enemies constantly bashing heads, but that's not the case. These are two, corporate giants that have been working together for many years. So it's not as cutthroat as people like to think of them. It's more cutthroat when it comes to the other companies, like I said, which is why Phil Spencer said that he's not worried about PlayStation. He has to worry about, Google. You know what I mean? And it makes sense because Google and Apple and Amazon, those are cutthroat corporations you have to keep your eye on. Sony isn't even in that spectrum. He's on the right page here. He's paying attention. He knows what he needs to do. Sony is going to need to wake up to what's going on, because if they keep staying within their little window, they have the risk of just becoming a niche system like Nintendo. Nintendo does very, very well, but Nintendo is a niche system. Everybody gets a Nintendo because they're looking for a particular thing, whether it's Mario or whatever. It's very niche. So if Sony doesn't pay attention, they run the risk of PlayStation becoming another niche console. So we'll have to see what they do. But this isn't going to be a Sony discussion. We're going to keep this on Microsoft. So let's just keep moving through this article. The industry has been consolidating rapidly as it spends heavily on technology. The takeover of Activision would make Microsoft the world's third largest gaming company by revenue, behind Tencent and Sony. Microsoft now makes Xbox consoles and owns studios that produce hits like Minecraft, and they got Bethesda, like I said, and they're doing fine. And then one main driver of deals, and one that could grab the attention of regulators, is the arms race for exclusive content. After locking up well-known franchises like Call of Duty, Microsoft can decide whether to make those games exclusive to their platforms, meaning fans of those games would be forced to switch from Sony's PlayStation to Microsoft's Xbox. Now, this is where that other conversation, remember how I said earlier, everyone keeps going on about the exclusivity conversation? Now I'll get into that. Xbox as a brand is all about entertainment, and he wants people to be able to enjoy that entertainment everywhere. He doesn't care. He wants it on as many platforms as possible. He wants Xbox to be a brand on PCs, on your consoles, on your phone. He wants people to always be able to boot something up and have something that's owned by Microsoft, Xbox, and access their games and their entertainment. So he's all about expanding the brand, whereas Sony is all about staying within that niche of just churning out high caliber third person cinematic games. That's fine. But if you're just only going to focus on that, then you're going to become niche, like I said, and Xbox is just going to become a way bigger entity overall and corner all the other markets and become the biggest household name like they did with Microsoft Word and the Microsoft operating system. They became the number one choice around the world, and they're trying to push that with Xbox as well. Now, when it comes to exclusivity, this is where a lot of people get into the argument. They dropped $70 billion, roughly. Like I said, it's 60.8. But we're rounding up for simplicity's sake. They dropped $70 billion. We had the same discussion not too long ago when they acquired Bethesda about, there's no way they're going to drop that kind of money and not make their stuff exclusive. And sure enough, they went ahead and they made their stuff exclusive. Minus Deathloop, because Deathloop had deals to be on PlayStation, and that was already pretty much done. The game was getting ready to launch right around the acquisition time was happening, so they kept that one the way it was promised. But everything after that, it became pretty much exclusive. So it makes sense that they would do that again. So that's why there's this big argument of if they do that, Call of Duty could get pulled off of PlayStation. And if you are somebody who owns a PlayStation and you only play COD, then you're going to need to invest in either an Xbox console or switch over to the PC space, because Game Pass is also on PC. And so you would have to maybe go over there because they're going to put this in Game Pass. This acquisition is not only to help them, like I said, expand in the mobile market, but this is to also expand their Game Pass library, because that's Game Pass is their main focus, is to get as many games as they can within that library, and then have that library accessible in as many areas as possible, so that they can keep growing their subscriber base. So it makes sense that they would do that. Now, keep in mind, they don't have to do that. They could be like, hey, we're going to drop Call of Duty every year like it does, but we're going to put it on Game Pass. So those that are on PC or on the Xbox console side of things, if you guys want to enjoy this game on Game Pass, you just got to pay your subscription and you get the game, as well as 300 plus other games that come along with it, and you're saving money and you're having fun. There you go. And those that stay within PlayStation would have to still pay full price, which would make it less attractive. But there's going to be people that will still do that don't want to opt into changing to a different platform. That's fine. Either way, even if they did that, Microsoft's going to get paid. More people are going to subscribe to Game Pass because they want to have access to Call of Duty. And if people buy the game full price on PlayStation, that money still goes to Microsoft because they own it anyway. So either way, Microsoft gets paid. So they could go that route. They could. Also possibly making Game Pass that powerhouse that PlayStation can't compete with, even though they said they want to make their own game service. They might not be able to do that in a timely manner to compete, so they might have to maybe partner again with Microsoft like they've already do, and maybe put Game Pass on PlayStation. That could happen. Not saying it will, but it's a possibility. They do have that working relationship where they share different things when it comes to software, so it's possible they might do that. Only time will tell. So lots of possibilities. People are going to argue back and forth about there's no way they're not going to make it exclusive. I would put more money on the bet that they're going to make it exclusive and they're going to put it on Game Pass to build up that subscriber base and to pull people off of other platforms. That makes the most sense. From a business perspective, take consumers away from your competitor and make them your consumers. That makes the most sense. That's probably what they would do. That's what I would say they should do. But when it comes to being consumer friendly, the gamers that are already on those other platforms, they're going to say, well, that's not consumer friendly. I don't want to spend, hundreds of dollars buying a new console to play one game when I already have a console I've invested in. So you're going to have those people that are going to be upset. The giving. But they really want to play that game, you know that they'll switch over to play that game. They will. It will be hard on some people, but they're gonna do it. So that's what they should do. They should make it exclusive. They spend a lot of money on this stuff. They should make it exclusive. When asked whether Activision games would become exclusive, Spencer would say only that our goal is to allow the content to reach as many players as possible. Right there. So like I said, his whole push ever since he became, the chief executive of Xbox was to make the Xbox brand as accessible as possible everywhere. So that tells me he wants it to reach as many players as possible. He's gonna put it on Game Pass because Game Pass allows people to play it on Xbox and on PC, and maybe he can try to get Xbox. Maybe they can try to get it. They have the cloud. The next step would be to get Xbox Game Pass on your smart TVs to where you can turn on your TV, boot up the app, and play games right off your TV with the controller. That would make sense to get it right there. That's the direction they need to go in. So it makes sense. If he wants to keep it available for PlayStation, that still works within his goal of having it reach as many people as possible. Don't take away from the PlayStation base, allow them to keep playing it, and just cash those checks because they own the rights to it anyway. So when someone buys Call of Duty for PlayStation 5, that money goes to Xbox. So it's either way. It is what it is. So they can do whatever they want. All right. Microsoft has been hunting for ways to spend its immense cash reserve, more than $130 billion, to expand its consumer business. Having looked at acquiring the booming social network TikTok and the popular chat app Discord, I just discussed that earlier. Activision, which faces accusations of senior executives ignored sexual harassment and discrimination, Microsoft found a target under stress. The allegations have weighed on Activision, with its shares falling 27% since they got sued by California in July. The game maker's shares opened up nearly 30% in trading on Tuesday. Microsoft shares fell by 2%, which is like nothing. Okay, so there you have it. And this follows the trend. Microsoft has been acquiring studios that have been in turmoil or under scrutiny. They did this when they picked up Bethesda. They now picked up Activision Blizzard because they were under a lot of scrutiny. So this also opens up the topic of speculation of if they're going to keep acquiring studios. The next three major studios I would foresee them picking up because they're always under scrutiny or in some sort of financial turmoil would be Ubisoft. Ubisoft is right now in a very bad spot when it comes to, they got a lot of lawsuits. They've been undergoing the, sexual harassment accusations. They've lost a lot of their employee base with layoffs, and they've had people just kind of walk out. So Ubisoft definitely would be on that list of people that Microsoft is probably looking at because, like I said, they are desperate. EA is another one that tends to, kind of look a little bit more desperate because their games, even though they, sell very well when it comes to their sports stuff, FIFA and Madden, when people think of EA, they think about how the quality of the games have been going down. I mean, look at the new Battlefield. That's a prime example of, whoa, these guys are in trouble. They don't look good in the public eye. And then the other one would be Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers is having issues with their games financially. So they might want to pick that up as well. And only time can tell what they're going to do with that, if they do anything. So all rumor and speculation when it comes to those three. And looking at past trends for Microsoft, it would make sense to me that Microsoft may in the future try to snatch up one of those three, if not all three, if they're able to, before somebody else does. It's possible. Definitely possible. And just to kind of go over something else, we'll kind of go over some of the games. I mean, we know like the big ones would be Call of Duty, Diablo, the World of Warcraft, Candy Crush on mobile, StarCraft, Overwatch, Tony Hawk, Spyro, Guitar Hero, Skylanders, King's Quest, Prototype, Geometry Wars, DJ Euro, Caesar, Gun. Gun gets me intrigued. Gun was, when it comes to Western themed games, Gun was my favorite. I preferred it over Red Dead. So if there's a chance that maybe Microsoft could bring Gun back, I would love to see it. Especially with how well Rockstar did with bringing back Red Dead Redemption. There's definitely interest there for a good Western game, so it would be great to see that make a comeback. I don't know if they'll pull it out of the vault, but it's there. Hexen, Interstate 76, Laura Bound Mysteries, Phantasmagoria, Pitfall, Quest for Glory, Singularity, Soldier of Fortune, Space Quest, Tenchu, Time Shift, Zork, True Crime, which is very interesting. I was in one of the Twitter spaces earlier, and people were talking about how they prefer True Crime over GTA. So if they could maybe revitalize that series, that would be good too, because when it comes to Grand Theft Auto, those fans have been waiting over a decade to get a sequel, and they're still waiting. So if they could revitalize True Crime, that would be great, because when it comes to games in that kind of area, I mean, I myself am not a fan of GTA. I would rather play Mafia or Saints Row or, the Godfather games or things like that nature before I would ever touch Grand Theft Auto. So True Crime, that's pretty cool. I would love to see if they do anything with that, because there's definitely a market there. GTA is, so focused on the online side that the people who just want to play the campaign are getting neglected. So try to swoop up some of those players. World of Warcraft, this is another big one. I would like to see what they're going to do with that. It's one of the biggest games on PC. So to me, that tells me, hey, great opportunity. Game Pass is on PC. If they put WoW on PC Game Pass, game changer. Especially since a lot of people don't want to get into Warcraft because they have to pay a subscription just to play the game by itself. So if they could tie Warcraft into Game Pass, where you no longer have to pay a subscription to play the game just for that game by itself, and just pay for Game Pass and be able to get full access to World of Warcraft, as well as all the other games within the Game Pass library, that would be a great thing. And also include all the expansions, because I myself have always been interested in World of Warcraft. I have stayed away because it's too big of an undertaking. There's too many expansions that I don't want to pay for, and I don't want to pay a monthly subscription just for that one singular game. And then, it just feel like if I can't get enough time invested to playing, that I'm not going to get my membership, value out of that. So this could be big. I would love to see World of Warcraft and all of its expansions available on Game Pass. That would be mind-blowing. All right? And in turn, I know they tried it in the past to do a console port. Back then, the consoles just weren't good enough. I think they tried doing it during the 360 time. The 360 couldn't do it. The hardware has gotten significantly better, and World of Warcraft is like a 15, 16-year-old game now. I feel now would be a better time for them to maybe try actually porting it to console. So if they could not only put it on PC Game Pass and build up their fan base even more with their concurrent player base and getting more subscribers on Game Pass, but if they could somehow manage to make a successful, good quality Xbox Series X port, that would be amazing, and also have that on Game Pass. Like that would be, a huge win for World of Warcraft. Continue being as big as it is, and just, the limits will just keep going up. So I would love to see that. And then let's see here. Heroes of the Storm is another one. Lost Vikings, and then there's a bunch of mobile games. I don't have that list here right now, But it'd be interesting to see what they do with all these different titles. Tony Hawk, they recently did like a remaster or remake rather. They did a remake, which was good and all, but Tony Hawk, I myself didn't even bother getting it because I'm not interested in playing that game again. I want a new one. So now that Microsoft will have Tony Hawk under their umbrella, maybe we can finally see them make a new Tony Hawk game. That would be great. I'd love to see it. And then another thing that wasn't brought up by anybody on Twitter was Star Trek. Now, these guys do not own the licensing to Star Trek, but Activision has created a lot of very good Star Trek video games that have been in their vaults. Now, good 5+ years ago, Steam had a deal where they were able to get all of the like Star Trek franchise video games on Steam. The only ones that they weren't able to acquire were the ones that Activision had. Activision didn't want to play ball. Activision wanted to keep those games in their vault. So it would be really cool if Microsoft could renew the licensing with Star Trek and bring some of those games back. Now, Activision did Bridge Commander. They did, I think I have some lists here. They did Bridge Commander. They did Hidden Evil. I never played that one. They did Armada. They did Conquest Online. Elite Force 1 and 2. Now, oh my gosh, Elite Force 1 and 2. Let me tell you, when it comes to the Star Trek video games, Elite Force 1 and 2 are the all-time best Star Trek video games in existence, in my personal opinion. They were first-person shooters, and you went out, you played as an away team, and it was so good. When you see Star Trek video games, they always take it from outer space, having the space battle kind of thing. Star Trek Online allowed you to at least do the away team and do quests, which was fantastic. But before that was a thing, Elite Force was the thing, and I want so desperately to see Elite Force make a return. It would be the biggest tribute to the fans if Microsoft go ahead and renew the licensing and either remaster those, because those are old games. We're talking PlayStation 2 era. So I would love to see either a remaster or a remake. I would be happy with either of those, or a brand new Elite Force 3. That, oh my gosh, would be the best. And for those who are fans of Star Trek series, Elite Force revolves around Star Trek Voyager. So the idea is Voyager ended up getting one of their special away teams, and it was basically like sending out like the Navy SEALs. Like it was like their elite team would go out that didn't involve the bridge crew, and they would go out and do missions, and you would go and fight the Borg, and you'd go on the Borg ships, and it was awesome. It was just awesome. Okay, I want to see this make a return. You know, I was super bummed that I couldn't get these games on Steam because Activision wouldn't release them. I was fortunate enough, though, that the discs still work. They were compatible with Windows 10, so I went and I bought the old PC versions of these games. And I was fortunate enough that they were compatible with Windows 10, and I was still able to play them. But let me tell you, I would love to play these games on my Series X. You know, fully remastered or remade, or better yet, give me an Elite Force 3. Go ahead and, you know, do like a remaster of like 1 and 2 and combine that with a brand new Elite Force 3, kind of like what they did with Gears of War when they, you know, launched Gears of War 4, and then they went ahead and they remastered the original ones, and they kind of put them together as like a little bundle thing. I would love them to do that. That would be a dream come true. Will it happen? Probably not, because it's going to be really, really hard to go and get licensing for Star Trek. But it's a dream that I have, and I would be the happiest camper in the world if they could make that happen. Another one is Star Trek Legacy, which was actually something that Bethesda did. So I don't know if they're going to do anything with that. So yeah, that's pretty much those. Okay, so that's going to pretty much kind of wrap up what I have to say on this topic. I will try to make a part 2 where I will talk with other content creators and fans of Xbox and these games to get their viewpoint on what they think this could be. No guarantees I'll get it to happen because everybody has different schedules and time zones. But I want to try it, see if I can make it happen. So maybe we will. So keep that in mind. If you enjoyed this episode, please give it a thumbs up, give it a like, give it a share, send it to your friends and family. I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks you so much for watching. This has been another exciting episode of Just a Glimpse. If you enjoyed it, please share it with your friends and family. See you all next time, and don't forget to check out my social media. Links in the information section.